And for this project, the main goals were improve UI design from my side. Those were improve UI UX and adding dark theme, multilingual support and testing. But improving UI was the main focus. And most of the things in that has been done, and dark theme is also done. So now coming to the dark theme, the for now the app picks up the theme which is already present on the system. So if you are running on white theme, it will pick up white theme, and the app will be in white theme, and the same applies for dark theme. And adding this earlier, it kind of helped in getting the modularity of colors in app. So now we don't have to every time hard code the colors. We just have to pick theme and then refer to the accent color or the background color, and it will kind of automatically change based on the theme. So these are the result. It's fully functional for all the screens, but here are just two screens of them. And now coming to the screens that were actually coded. So the explore events page was coded, event information page, and create event and profile, and also edit profile page. So all these pages, they I've coded them such that they follow the MVVM architecture, and they basically extend the base class and the base view model uh, of the MVVM. And now multilingual support. So this was not my primary task, but I was asked to help with this in the first mentor meeting. So, and I also mentioned in my proposal that if we want to add multiple language in the uh, apps, so creating those JSON files, the localization file, that might be will be a cumbersome process. So suppose you have this file for English. So this is take key, they go to Google, translate it into open Google Translate, and then translate it into let's say Chinese, and then copy it back, create a file, and then paste it here. So now this is to be done for all these values. Um, this might be close to 180 removing the spaces. So for all the values and for all the languages. So this is a time consuming process, and I created a script for this. This was done in the community bonding period itself. And I mentioned this to the Brandon sir in the very first days of GSoC, but actually I forgot to say to Sumitra about this, because after this everything happened quickly, and he added all the languages. But if at all we need to add more languages, then Sumitra, you can use this script. I'll share you the link. Uh, and one more thing is that there's a drawback here. So I was testing this script and it worked fine for 4 or 5 times. It gave desired result, but after that, Google started giving me message that my token has expired. So we might need a VPN to use this script. Okay, so and also during the community bonding period, we came up. I and Ritik, we came up with this login sign up workflow and kind of assisted Rutvik in creating the Figma prototypes. And now coming to what's left. So, okay, image for event is left. So if you see the events in the app as well, it's currently grayed out. So we need an image here. These are the tasks that are pending from my side, and this will be done in the second phase. And search functionality for the events and ability to add members while creating events. So we need something like this. So you will see that the event admin or the person who creates the event can add the people here. So 1 or 2 admins for the event, coordinators, and then members. So this functionality is not there, and this is to be done. And highlighting subscribed and created events. So UI for this is already done, but I had some problem while registering event, and it was not showing if the event was already registered or not. So the UI for this is present, uh, and a small change, some little changes are required to show this badge subscribed, or if the event is created by you, it will show that you are admin or coordinator. And yeah, then writing test for this part. And now for the profile page, switch to change the theme. So now, as I said, the app it picks theme from your system. So if you're using on a mobile at Android, I think you can just open the notification panel and then change the theme from there. But for emulator, you need to go into settings and then change the theme of your system. So this should not be a case. There should be a switch to change the theme as always. And the reason why this was not added earlier because we were not sure with the dark theme. So what colors will look good and how will be the contrast as on the accent color, that is the green we are using, and then the secondary accent color, and that the orange. But now everything looks fine, and this can be added now. App setting page. So this is just a page to have a switch page, and then functionality to update profile. Actually, few of these things require changes from the backend, and I have submitted the documents with the Sumitra in the last meeting, and yes, then writing tests. So these are the tasks that will be done in the second phase, and additional polishing of events because the event section it kind of has a lot of feature and it should not get cluster and the features they should be robust. So it might more care needs to be taken while coding the event section. And yes, so that was it from my side.
Okay, thanks. Do you have a demo of anything that you've done in terms of like your emulator or anything like that? I think that might be helpful for people to see.
Okay, I'll share the screen. One second. Um, Sir, the screen is visible.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so this was the event section that was coded by me, and some small things along with it, like this bottom navigation bar. Now, of the theme, what I meant is that you need to turn the switch theme from you need to turn the theme of whole system to see the changes here. And in-app setting a switch is needed. And now this profile page and the edit profile page. UI is done and few things are needed from the backend for actually updating the profile. So I have mentioned that in the uh, document. And coming to the events part, so this is how the events. These are the events page. And okay, so now creating the event. So I private and keep registered. Okay, so the event it is added and it's private, so it's only visible in the private section. and we can now see the information regarding the event. And only the person who has created the event can see the options to delete or edit the event. So for example, this Elon's page, this event was not created by me, so I don't see any option to edit or delete the event. But then coming to here, I just created it now. So here are the option to edit or delete. Yes, so it's gone. It's not there. And edit. So the event has been edited. Yes, sir. So the event section and the profile section, that was I coded.
All right, thanks. So, do any of you have any sort of questions or comments? Who's your mentor? I think it's Brandon, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir, it's
that's me.
Brandon.
Okay, so Brandon, any comments in general on the progress?
Okay, so Utkarsh and I have met a couple of times. We've discussed the different things that he was working on, and so far, as I told him the most recent time we spoke, I'm actually pretty proud of just about everybody's contributions, especially Utkarsh, because everything that he's contributed since we remade the project. I mean, everything like all of the cards for the events, they look good, and the app, just about everything that he made is easy to use, which was one of the main goals that we had when we were reworking the user experience. So I mean, those are really the two main points that the two main things that I was looking out for with his contributions. And the only other thing is that the recent changes to events just need to be merged, and that's just about it from me.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
So before we continue, I want to open the floor to other people. Utkarsh, you'd mentioned that you'd been talking to a number of other students like Sumitra, etc., about getting things done. One of the things that we really need to make sure that's being done is that in addition to asking for the work to be done, that you create the issues. Because what happens is that we don't see what's going on. The activity on GitHub has got almost completely silent, and the other mentors don't have a good idea as to what's happening on the repository. Other students, other potential contributors don't see any activity. The repository looks dead. And so we need to make sure that I know that you guys are working very heavily on this, but we need to make sure that issues are created so that we can have better control and management of the development process. Okay? So
Yes,
anything,
sir.
okay, so anything that you've asked Sumitra or anybody else to do, create an issue for it. Ask somebody to assign it to Sumitra so he has a task list to work with. I think we spoke about this last week, and we really need to make sure that is done. It's really, really, really important. All right. Does anybody else have any questions or comments on what Utkarsh has done?
Hi Utkarsh.
Yes,
So
sir.
I did not notice or consider these as a feature request, but is there any option to add the event into Google Calendar or iCalendar?
No, sir. As of now, there is not such option. But yes, it can be done.
Okay.
All right, so that's one thing that we could create an issue for. We don't necessarily need to do it immediately, but at least we have it as a placeholder. All right, but that's a very good suggestion. Anybody else?
Just a comment. So Utkarsh, good job on the changes that you made so far. I really commend you for that script that you created for the language support. Good job.
All right. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Uh, Actually, there are some couple of disadvantages to using those scripts which Utkarsh is actually talking about, which I will give a bit of more clarity that why I didn't use those in the first place when I will be presenting. But yeah, there are some lag in terms of preserving the context of a language when you move on to those scripts. So yeah, I will giving a more clarity on that picture during my presentation.
Okay, that's really good. I think Ritik raised his hand, so that'd be good. Ritik, please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to add for that point as well, like Sumitra pointed out right now. We already have the platform localizedly provided by the Flutter Intel package. They have their integration with localizedly, and we can just upload a single file with all the strings, and we can have the desired outputs for multiple languages, as many as languages we want. The limitation for that platform is we have a certain number of credits on a free account, and we can create as many as free accounts we want. So having this won't be a problem for translating strings into as many files. It can translate about hundreds to 200 strings in a single time with the number of credits they provide with the free package.
Okay, good. So, anybody else? So, Ritik, thank you very
Actually, I
much.
didn't know about this earlier, so that Intel provides us with this, so I created a script on own.
Okay. Anybody else? Any of the mentors? All right, nothing there. All right, so Ritik, I know that we started without you because we couldn't find you. So I think now would be a good time for you to present. So
Sure, sir.
if you'd like to go ahead, please go ahead now.
Yes, sir. So, good morning, everyone. And I, Ritik Srivastava, under the guidance and mentorship of Mr. Sagar Utkarsh sir, learned a lot and contributed with my whole heart. And I, with my bottom of my heart, congratulate everyone to contribute with me. So here is my progress report till now. And the expected delivery according to my proposal for all the tasks would be around 12th of August. The tasks which have been accomplished till now are the migration of Talawa code base to Flutter 2.0, QR join, sign up and invite to other peoples, and invitation links to the people for joining the organization or signing up. For a brief description of the code migration, it involved updating of the deprecated libraries. In this code migration step, we had multiple parts as well, because this time we had the full authority to change the UI as well as implement the MVVM architecture with the prescribed methodology that we have. In this part of the migration, we had some of the things that we divided into parts. I basically took the part that was the pre-auth state, that is described as someone who is not logged in into the application. So all the screens, all the functionalities and features that will happen before login till the login are to be handled in this migration part. I also additionally added a page for waiting page, that as we described in the design sessions, that we need users to be intact with at least a single organization, that is a public organization. And if they had, we had a conclusion that if someone joins a private organization, so they will have to wait for the confirmation, and hence we need a waiting page. On that waiting page, it was a dead end kind of scenario. So I added a join organization button, which will be functional soon. From that button, the users can join more organizations, as many as they want. The demo will be provided at last. I'll provide the demo of all the things that I did in this migration part. Okay. Yeah. So this is the demo. I'll provide the demo over here right now. So this is when someone joins the opens the application for the first time. He have to enter the URL and click on sign up. From there, he can select any organization. This is the sign up process via private organization to demonstrate the waiting page. Here, the user has to enter the credentials or the data that he wants to use for future login sessions. So over here we have landed the waiting page. Over at the top, null is showing because the translation is not yet complete. Due to that translation, it is returning the null string. Otherwise, you will be having a greeting string that will tell you that you have to wait until the organization admins accept or rejects your request to join the organization. The next demo is for the join in process if someone joins with a private public organization. What happened? I misplaced something. Okay. I guess the video got repeated. I'll demonstrate the video at last for the public login. The next one is the waiting stage. If someone logs in again and his login isn't verified because he is not intact with any organization till now, as he opted for a private organization in the starting of the join. So this login states if someone is not intact to any organization, he won't be able to go inside the application. He has to wait and or join another public organization. So he will be leaving to this waiting organization page. The next demo includes the invitation links. These are the links. Basically, this was the feature that we intended to have for the growth of organizations. Users can who already are joined in an organization and want to share their organization with other peoples, so they can directly share the invitation links inside from inside the applications to multiple platforms. And we have uh, given the feature to join the organization and share the URL for basically three platforms right now. But the user can share the URL link to any platform if they uh, wish to share on any other platform, provided that it is not there. Like they can share directly on Twitter, Telegram, and WhatsApp. If they want to share any other platform, they can use the native share platform plugins that the providers provide. Like Android provides the native share plugins, and iOS also provides the native share plugin. So in this screen, you can see on the right, on the left, I am logging in a device which I have already joined a public organization. After joining in, I navigate to the profile screen. From there, I'll have an invite tab. After clicking on that, I get a bottom sheet which displays a QR code. I'll explain that QR code later on, but you can click on any of the 3 or 4 options. I'll repeat it again. We have 4 options right now, basically a share and 3 direct platforms. So I shared it to my friend, and on the right is my friend's device. So he'll be opening that link. When he opens that link, the link directly opens into the application. Currently, we have the app links implemented. When we have a full-fledged application published on any app store, then we can use the market links. Currently, we are using app links, so the functionality won't change. But the only thing is the generation of the links would differ when we use market links. So in this case, like you saw that the my friend didn't had to do any stuff for entering the URL and selecting the organization. It was already pre-done. He has to give the data input for the sign up, and as soon as he gives the data input for sign up, he's already joined into that organization. As I shared the link for a public organization, so he is directly navigated inside the application. If I had shared the link for a private organization, he would be landed to a waiting page. So in this demo, like you can see, as it's about to complete the sign up details. Yeah. So he has completed the details and he has joined the same organization that I joined. The next demo is the QR code that I showed you. It's the similar kind of thing that anyone can scan their QR code. The other platforms also provide these things to share contacts and share the things. On the right, I am signing in into my device. On the left, I am signing in into my device, in which I have already joined a public organization. So now I'm showing the QR code to my friend, and he can scan that QR code if he is not logged in, or if he's logged in, then he can scan the QR code directly from the platform. Okay. No problem. So yeah, over here I showed the QR code to my friend, and on the URL input screen, he directly clicked on that scan QR code button, from where he scanned the QR code and it automatically detected the data, selected the organization for him, and he has to just input the details. This was simple enough. Now I'll proceed to the forward stages. Now, if he is already logged in, he can still scan this QR code from this page, join organization page. And if he scans the code, then there can be multiple scenarios. The first scenario is that he has already joined the organization. The second scenario can be like the QR code that he is scanning is of an organization that is on a different URL. So in that case, we have handled that stage as well in this demo. Like if someone joins any organization that is on different URL other than the URL that he is already logged in, so he'll get a notification telling that he needs to log out and sign up for that organization by clicking on that link again. Future implementation of this, we are thinking to have a dialog box to give the user the ability to log out directly and continue the rest process again. These were the video demonstration. Now coming upon the documentation part. So basically, when this documentation states about what happens when someone scans a QR code. So if someone who scans a QR code, then the person has 2 states. Either he is authorized, that is he is logged in, or second, that he is not logged in. Now, if someone is not logged in and he wants to scan the QR code, he can scan the QR code from join organization page and enter URL page, and he can then sign up to that particular organization. The second stage is that he's already logged in, then he can go to the join organization page and scan the QR code. So there has been the last stage, that is if the organization is on different URL that is stated right now. So we have to show something to the user that is relevant because that organization doesn't exist on that same server that he's been logged in. The same is for the invite links. Invite links directly open inside the applications. It won't open in web browser or anything right now. Later on, the implementation would be the market links. Currently, we have app links. These links also work in a similar manner. The thing is, but that here the user can open the application from any third-party platform or services that they use. The future implementation, these are the attention areas that we need to give in the future. That we need to change the generation part of the links, and we have to wait for the application to be launched on any market platform so that we can generate the market links. The schedule for my next timeline is something like that. I'll work on the donation placement, donation UI. Then on the afterwards, I'll have to implement the donation feature. After that, I had the part in my proposal that on the first login attempt, any user who logs in for the first time inside the application should be given a get around of the application so that he can understand the app and it's deep inside very well, so he doesn't get complicated whenever in future. So this is the app showcase feature. After that, I also added a feature implementation for accessibility. This feature adds the ability in the application for the differentially abled people to interact with the Lava application in a very well-mannered way by the help of voice access or talkback on Android and similar features on iOS devices. Last but not the least, I'll have to work on the implementations which are lacking in the test. So this is my timeline, and these are the documentations that I'll be working upon. At last, the my future plans for Talawa would be like the implementation of ads for securing like more source of revenue. Currently, we don't have any notification implementations. This feature I would like to implement, and the last feature that I would like to implement is the multi-theme support. Other than dark theme and light theme, I would like to give Talawa the ability to have multi-theme support that user can have their predefined themes. Thank you everyone for listening me patiently, and if you have any queries and questions, then you can proceed.
Thank you very much, Ritik. I really like the idea of you having the videos done in advance, which also helped a great deal in advancing the concepts of what you're talking about. One of the things that is not immediately clear, and people watching this video may not know this, so I'm going to ask the question. In some of the cases that you showed, you had to log in every single time. So is it a case where every time you start the app, even after you've logged in previously, that you have to re-log in, or is that just for the purposes of the demo?
So that was intended for the purpose of demo. I wanted to show every time that I'll have a fresh restart, and whatever I do is a fresh thing.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much. This is really good. The quality of the presentations has been excellent. Brandon, you had your hand up.
Okay, so what I wanted to ask was when you said that you wanted to support more themes than just a light theme and dark theme. So I take that as you saying that you want people to select custom primary and secondary colors to view in the app. So custom background colors and so on. Now, is it a case where you want them to select them separately? So you would explicitly ask them what primary color do you want and what secondary color do you want, or do you want to have predefined pairs that they would choose?
So we have like as I showed in my PPT that this is my these are my goals after the GSoC period or the timeline that I've proposed for GSoC gets completed. And this feature, like I intend to have the users give the ability to have their own predefined themes, as well provide some of the more new like 2 to 3 more themes that can be like predefined other than the dark theme and the light theme.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anybody else that has any questions? Any of the mentors?
Um, Hey, hi Ritik. I think that was smart move to have your these sessions recorded, demo recorded, uh, and I'm really happy to see your progress. The migration, code migration, you did in very quickly, and then we are remaining with the donation. So hopefully we'll be able to do that in this second phase. And uh, absolutely, your presentation skills are improving day by day. So keep doing that. I'm really happy with the feedback he tries to get, and he himself want to have some meetings if he has any these questions or anything. So that is impressive, and we expect students to do that. Again, like Peter said, students should create the issues for whatever the tasks they are doing. So Ritik is following that. So that's good, and keep doing this good work. Thanks.
Thanks, Sagar. Yes, I must say and re-emphasize that the work that you guys did in revamping the mobile app was really impressive. I think that was Utkarsh, Ritik, and Rutvik, and in conjunction with Sumitra, because Sumitra was doing a lot of stuff in parallel in the back end and on the web and on the mobile app. So kudos to you on that. It was very impressive to see the progress. We took a chance by allowing you to be contributors to the repositories, and that calculated risk has paid off very well and very handsomely. So that's been really, really good. All right. Is there anybody else who wants to make any comments or questions before we move on to Rutvik? All right, doesn't sound that way. So, Rutvik, please get ready.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to start the timer. Please go ahead.
Is my tab visible?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Rutvik, and this GSoC period, I have these 4 primal goals. The first one was to redesigning the app. The second one was to code the design. The third one was to implement the MVVM architecture, and this redesigning website is a goal like it is recently added to my GSoC period. So let us start with the first one, which is redesigning the application. So I have designed a few main screens, and as well as the main screen, I have also designed workflow, like the entire workflow. So with the help of Ritik and Utkarsh, I have designed this workflow. That this is a login workflow, this is the events workflow, this is the chat workflow. So for the redesigning, these are the things that I have did in Figma software. The second major goal was to code the design. So as my most of the time was went into designing in Figma. So these are the major four components that I have coded till now. So I have majorly worked on the home screen. So in home screen, there is a news post, there is a custom carousel, there are a comment section in individual post page, and the last one was the control that I have built. So for the demo, I have a video. So as soon as you have already logged in, so you will see on this home screen, and in this home screen, this is the news post where obviously there are description and the media container that have images, videos, and thumbnails of the documents in near future. And there is the likes and comment section. So this is the news feed, and when a user clicks on, like, obviously this is a toggle like button, so a user can like or unlike the post. So when you can the comment on the previous page, like the newsfeed page, you will navigate to this individual post page where you can see the recent likes. Like we have recent 4 to 5 likes, and also the comments that the post has. So if you want to add the new comment, you can add new comment directly from here. So when you like comment and post that, so by posting that, this counter will automatically incremented, and also in the main screen it is also incremented. So yeah, these are the things I've coded. And another thing is the custom drawer. So basically this drawer is really useful for managing your organization. Either the task is to be switching the organization or joining new organization. All the things that manages your organization can be done from this drawer. So this is the custom drawer that I have built. So yeah, that's all for the demo. And the third major goal was to implement, like, to set up the MVM architecture. So if you see the current code base, all the things that we have implemented, me, Ritik, and Utkarsh, all things are now implemented in MVM architecture. So every functionality, every like common functionalities are divided into services, and the locator is responsible for committing these data to the view models, and view models are responsible for giving the changes to the views, or you can say the UI. Apart from this, I have also implemented Mockito for unit testing. So as we all know that when we do unit testing, we require some like stubbing some of the functionality. So I have set up this Mockito for unit testing. Now the testing is really scalable, and anyone can do that unit test really easily with the Mockito. Yeah, so thank you for listening.
Thanks a lot, Rutvik. One of the things that I really wanted to emphasize was that I remember at the beginning we were insistent upon making sure that we had the workflow in terms of like a flow chart for the various screens. And I know that there was an amount of apprehension that you weren't getting coding done while you were doing all of this other stuff. But one of the things that it has shown is that with a very, very clear definition of what was required in terms of the screens and the flows, some of the work like what Ritik was doing with the sign up stuff and Utkarsh, etc., has been much smoother, and I think that has been very, very helpful. We learned from our mistakes with the original Talawa application that if we didn't get these things sorted out from the beginning, that we would regret it later on, and I'm really glad to see that this has been done. All right, so do we have anybody else who wants to make some comments or questions?
I just want to say that I think you did a very good job, Rutvik.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Rutvik. Sorry if I missed, but you were showing newsfeed page. You played the video. That functionality
Yes.
is not completed yet?
No, it is completed. Like it is in the current application.
Okay, but in demo it was not playing, or
Okay, are you talking about the media stuff,
yeah.
like the images and videos? Yeah, actually we haven't set up the media from the backend, so it is only
Okay,
not. Yeah, we will do it
okay.
shortly.
And okay, you are going to work on that, or someone
Yes,
else?
yes. No, I'm going to work on it. Like
Okay, yeah,
for the
great.
backend stuff, Sumitra is going to work on things. For the front end, I will attach the endpoints to that.
Okay, great. Good job, Rutvik. Thanks.
Thank you.
Right. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about is that you've mentioned the media, and I think on one of the I think on the most recent mentors meeting, there was a discussion of using AWS as a potential data point that could be used for storing the data. That's really good. It's a good consideration. But please remember that most of the people that are going to be starting out with Talawa are going to want to run it on their local machine for a demo without necessarily setting up the authentication and all the various other things that are going to be required for third-party storage. So if you're going to be doing that, please make sure it's an optional add-on. And if possible, make it a plugin so that somebody can choose to use the AWS plugin or whichever plugin it is as one of the options for the back end. So that would be something to consider. So this is one of the reasons why we wanted to have plugins in the first place, so that we can add these additional functionalities without having too much hard coding. So that would be something to consider. All right. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, so I just wanted to say that I had some difficult time figuring out how to test the MVVM, and I just want to thank Ritvik for setting up Mockito and then sharing resources for the MVVM pattern.
Well, thanks. The MVVM thing, I was not familiar with it. Flutter is not my major area of coding every day. I code mostly in Python. And when the mentors started to talk to me about it, and when I started to remember about the little amounts of Flutter that I've done with just in online courses, I thought it was a really good idea. So we're really trying to see how we can get some best practices done, and I think this is really a good step in the right direction. All right, so if we don't have any more questions, I think it'll be time for Sumitra. So Sumitra, please get ready. Do you have any other questions? Anybody else? No? All right, Sumitra, please go ahead. I'm going to start the clock.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning and good evening, everyone. Okay, so the objective of my proposal was is adding the multilingual support, and apart from that, I have also taken the work of encryption and backend refactoring. So let me start with the content of the presentation. Basically, it's deal with the two parts. On the front end part, I have worked in the multilingual support side, and on the back end part, there are three things. One is related to the schema modification, the other is the APIs modification, and then the third work is related to the security. So yeah, in the multilingual support, like until now, I have added a total of 5 languages, which include Hindi, English, Chinese, French, and Spanish. The languages has been decided based on the factor of the population density, like they are spoken in most of the cases. So as we move forward in our journey for the next month, I will be adding a couple of more languages to support to enable more amount of user. These updates of the multilingual support has been done on both the previous version and on the new version of the UI element that we have created. And one of the important features that these language updates have are they are instantaneous and independent. What I mean by that is basically the user does not have to be dependent upon our any internet connectivity, or if there is some issues related to fetching the data from the network. So that independence is there within the system, irrespective of whether you are having a good internet connection or not. Your language changes are independent of that thing, which makes the entire process very dynamic. And one of the most important thing that I would like to highlight everyone is that the most difficult part in any language conversion is basically dealing with the element of context. So for example, I would like to say, let's just say a small word, a simple word like save, which can actually mean a lot of things based on in what particular format of in what type of sentence it has been used. So for example, save the water, or save the person uh, for the threat of his life. So the that context part of the entire sentence plays a very crucial role. And when I was actually working on this, creating this JSON file, the reason why I have not gone for any script or any such kind of third party services or anything was to actually have preserved that particular element. Even when I was sometimes going to Google Translate to actually search what should I be using in the sentences. So during that time, like, I was not putting a particular word to get the conversion, like converting, just putting save to convert it from English to all the other four languages. The idea was to actually, in what context, like what is the sentence that I should put, and make sure that that kind of a conversion is being carried out. So this has actually led to some lag also. Like you can here see in the video that as we change the particular element of language, like when we play the video in the English, the UI element here is join and collaborate. So you can see the font differences here. And when, as soon as you go to the other language, let's just say Hindi, there is no existence of such a font differences, because in order to preserve that context, it's important to use the entire join and collaboration sentence as a single unit and treat it like a single unit during the conversion. So this is one of the most important reason why I have not gone for any script or any such third party services. The same case goes for the other languages like Chinese, French, and Spanish, where the context is always preserved irrespective of anything else. Okay, so after, one of the most important thing that the result of the language changes that we have come across is there are no hard coded strings after the refactoring. So in the future, if you wanted to create a more focused content as a developer, we are not very much inclined to the content of what we are displaying to the user, rather than we are more focused in terms of scalability and having a good user interface in that sense. But like one of the most important thing of, like, right now we have no hard coded strings within the system, and we have separate JSON files. So someday someone can actually change those contents very easily, and in future also we can actually add newer language very easily. We just have to create a new JSON file and the things will be added. The entire phenomena, as you can see in the video, the entire like, I have selected a language called Chinese, and the entire flow of app within that language. So this entire thing is being actually created or implemented using the MVVM architecture itself. So both the localization and delegate files are actually built using this the concept of MVVM, rather than the one state management the change notifier thing, which I have been using previously. Now, the third part that that this change has brought is preserving of user preferences. Like when the user actually selects a languages, any language, so that language is not only stored in the local storage in terms of shared preferences, but that choice of user language also goes to the database, that okay, user are actually running the app in this particular languages. So next time user when log into the app and used it from some other devices, that thing should be preserved. Like it should not, like the if the user has selected the Hindi, then in some other devices it just start popping up in English. Also, the test code part has been completed, which means that the implementation of test codes in terms of both the string refactoring that has been done, and in terms of language switching from one particular language to the other particular language, is present right now in our code base. In the newer UI, these test code changes are not present in the previous version of the UI that we have been using. Okay, now coming to the backend part. So in the backend, the changes started with the schema update. In the schema update, my work with the language was from the perspective of both the front end and backend part. So what I mean by the backend part is when a user is selecting any language, I was focused on preserving that data into the database, so that if in case some other user from some other country and some other language preferences are using some other uh, other languages, so they could actually understand the person who is standing in front of them, standing like the person with whom they are communicating in the front, actually they are able to deliver their information efficiently. So when they knew that that person does not speak that language, so they can effectively communicate on a simpler level. Now here I'm not saying that I'm using any third party translation service to actually convert English into Hindi. What I'm saying that I'm just making that information available, that that guy is not using the application with that English language, it is not his primary language. So that there can be an establishment of a simpler or effective way of communication, whatever medium, like if they choose to still communicate in English, so there is a simpler way of conversation. uh, then apart from this part, I have introduced, like previously we do not have much of the delete feature, and one of the things that I have noticed in my research work is that the delete actually does not actually throw out the data from the database. What we actually ended up doing with that functionality is basically putting a status check of that parameter being not active, or that data model being not active. So that delete status has been implemented in the backend. Apart from that, there is this role and responsibility schema update. What I mean by here is that now we categorize our user in terms of whether they are the Talawa admin, or whether they are a normal user, or whether they are a super admin. So that basis of classification on a user level will actually help us as we further modify in the future the different APIs that the user is capable of accessing. And this, like on the schema level, if you are following the Talawa API side development, there are some rules and responsibilities update also, which actually is for this particular fact itself, like this particular thing itself, which can give the user the capability to actually make sure that this user is actually capable of accessing this particular API, and the other users are not. Uh, yeah. On the API level, that is to say query mutations and subscriptions, the following changes have been done. First is related to the authentication. Authentication, what I mean is like we have make some changes in the sign up and login authentication, which actually let the user to have the capability to be classified, like when we introduce that schema update of classifying user as user admin and super admin, then that leads to those changes within the authentication of sign up and login. Then there are some privacy based modifications. Like previously what we used to do is uh, 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 like there was no, there was no authentication element present there. What I mean is, even if I have not logged in to the Talawa, I can actually hit a query and can access the entire information. So that in the bottom of the video you can see that now you have to actually have a web token in order to access the query, otherwise you are not capable of doing so. And even if you are capable of doing it, for some queries like me, you can have the capability of accessing your entire information. For the other queries like user or users, you are not allowed to see like what are the things they are blocking. You are allowed to see their like first name, email, or the organizations they have joined in, which we sometimes show in the app also, but you are not allowed to see some private informations. So that changes have been done in terms of privacy. Also, the queries are made dynamic in the sense that there is the addition of the where parameter along with the uh, uh, this ascending and descending parameter, which is to sort parameter. So now initially we used to sort the data in the front end part. Now you can actually put the parameter in the API itself while sending your while sending your request. You can put that parameter, and the you will get the results accordingly based on what kind of a sorting or what kind of a clause you want in your API. In terms of mutation modification, the mutation modification has been dealt with the language and the sign up side. So in the previous video, you have seen that there is this update language schema that I am running. I will show you. What I'm saying that if a user actually updates language within the app into any desired format, so that will get reflected here. So just a minute. So if a user changes the language preferences, so it will be stored accordingly in the database, and will help the user to actually access the device within the same languages across the multiple smartphone that she is using, and also will help in establishing an effective communication to let that the other user speaks that language or not. So that mutation modification in terms of making sure the language part works efficiently have been done. Uh, the roles and responsibilities is basically related to the access and classification that has been done in that authentication part itself, which is to say the sign up part. Now, when a user actually signs up, there is this user type preferences in which you can actually select that whether it's a normal user or an admin or a super admin. And based on that, we can actually have this classification accordingly and create this user accordingly and give them the privacy and stuff. Yeah, this was one of the most important thing that I have been working on, which is the security part. Now, previously, what we were facing a trouble with was that within a single query, you can actually access the entire information of the database. So, for example, if you are running a user query, so within that user query, you can actually go into the created organization, and further you can drill down into the members to get the information of all those members, from where you can further drill down into the further parameters. Now, the entire API was designed in such a way that we were never having a depth of more than two to actually access a particular information. So like the entire queries and mutations that we were running, we just were using the data of depth one level. That is to say, like in the user connection, the ID, the first name gives me enough data. You don't have to go into the created organization, then the members part, then the first name to actually use that data somewhere in the app. So I have restricted the entire node access up to a depth 2 level. So what I mean is that you can actually access the data like like I will demonstrate you just a minute. Like for example, now this particular query, if I am running, I can get my data from the database with respect to all the information that I want to have related to ID, first name, and within the created organization, the name of the created organizations. So if I am trying to access from here the further information of members, then that is not possible now. Only up to the depth 2 level you can access the information, and if you tries to exceed more than that, you either use some other queries which are built specifically for that purposes, or else you are not allowed to access the information.
Okay, Sumitra, we're almost out of time. I think we're over. So if you could speed it up a little bit, that'd be good.
Yeah, that was my work in the both the front end and the back end part. And when it comes to the ongoing work, there are some of the requests that are pending from the contributors that I am working on. Apart from that, there is this refactoring work that has been going on with respect to the subscription and mutations mainly. And in the further upcoming days, like I will be adding further language JSON files. Apart from that, I were facing some of the issues with respect to the encryption that I'm very clear of right now, that what I need to do in the future. So those will be implemented accordingly in the upcoming months, and the entire backend test codes will also be updated in the upcoming months. That's it from my side. This was all the work that I have done in both the front end and the backend part.
All right, thank you very much, Sumitra. The work that you've done has been really exemplary. The fact that you've been able to change the way that you think from the GraphQL side, and then also doing a great deal of implementation on the multilingual side on the Talawa app itself to integrate with some of the stuff that you're doing has been really, really, really worthwhile. And so we really thank you for getting some of this stuff done. Is there anybody that has any questions in general? Surely you must have questions. Your mentor must have questions or comments.
Hey, hi, Sumitra.
I do think
Hi,
that,
guys.
no, I don't really have any questions. I've been following Sumitra's work like week after week, so I think he did a pretty good job.
Thank you, Dom.
Okay, Sagar, you were saying something.
Yeah, so Sumitra, I noticed in your demo that some of the fields like username is not translating into selected language. Is it just because you're demoing things, or
like those, no, like I would bring the attention, like why those changes, like some of the changes which has been happening right now was like I have removed the hard coded string which we were using, and in order to actually use the app localization feature, you need to actually provide those things into those formats of using the localizer file to actually get that particular data from the JSON, and then you need to actually put those data into the JSON files. So some of the changes that has been happened in the recent times have not like included those things which have actually lead to these issues. So this will like improve the next time I will be actually refactoring the entire app hard coded strings and putting those in the JSON files.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, whenever user, for example, select the Chinese language, then the keyboard actually will get translated into Chinese typer, right? So
Yeah. I will make sure of that. Yeah.
okay. But from that, Sumitra, good work. You're working on backend side, and I am sure there is lot of dependency on you. Um, yeah. Thanks very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, so thanks a lot again. Sumitra, please, as much as possible, I know that in many cases you are a single point of contact for a lot of the stuff on the back end. As much as possible, make sure that you're working on issues. If anybody asks
Yeah.
you for anything, make sure that there's an issue there so that you can at least plan. We need the
Yes.
issues. It's very, very important. All right.
Sure.
All right. Anybody else? We should get Yasharth getting ready. Um,
Yeah,
so
sir.
is so is Yasharth there? Please go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Your audio is really bad. Yasharth, can you hear us? Are you there?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you now. Please
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, sir. So actually, what my purpose for the first evaluation was, I was given the task to complete to, to make some features of the Talawa admin. So I made the Talawa design. Let me show you. So this was the design that I was given to make, and uh, I was also given the task to get. I was also given the task to complete the features like uh, create the organization and take the organization like this one is the real website that I made. And for now the login feature is working, and like if you can see like here it is given like the login link and everything is working here, and it is going in the super dashboard. Like this is the dashboard for the thing, and here is the list of the I think my internet is not working. Like here, this is the list of the users that are registered in the database, and it's coming on the website. And same for the organization. Here is the list of the organization that are in the database, and if we are clicking it, we are going to the pages for the organization, and all the details are coming from the uh, database as well. Here is the members. Like we can see who are the people here, and same for the organization like homepage. Like uh, this one is the page for the if organization. This is the page for the organization. Like if organization is logging from their side, so this one is the thing for them.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, so I have some questions. The You said that the login actually functions, but you didn't actually show us. Is there any
Yeah,
integration with
login
the
functions,
backend?
but there no sir. There is some problem like there is no user made till now. So the login couldn't be functioning like.
Okay, so this is for you in your particular instance, but in a regular instance, that would work.
Yeah, it will work.
Okay, so the other thing that I noticed is that you had some URLs. The one of them was super dash, and you also had org home. So how do you switch between super dash and org home? Super dash, I'm assuming, is the super user for all
Yeah, sir.
organizations, and
Super
then
Dash is the dashboard for the super admin, and
right,
org home is the dashboard for the normal organization manager.
right. So how do you switch between the two? It wasn't very clear as to how you could be a super user
Yeah, it
and then
will be done in the login pages only.
okay, so if you were a super user, you'd only see the super user stuff, and then if you logged
Yes,
in
sir.
as a regular user, so
Yeah.
do you have plans for a super user to be able to take over an organization in the event of some administrative activity or
Yeah,
the
sir.
organization
I
goes
have done.
away?
Yeah, yeah. I am also planning like editing and creation and deletion of the organization.
Okay, so we're going to need to have some way in which we can flip between the super user and the regular user in your workflow. So that's going to be really important. But
Yeah, I have some plans about this.
okay. So the design is something that you've spoken about. I think we're thinking of ways in which we can fine tune it a little bit. I think I've seen some so good work on that. Brandon, think I saw your hand. I think I saw Sumitra's hand, and I saw Sagar's. So let's go with Brandon first, then
Oh,
Sagar.
oh no, you actually asked the question that I was going to ask, so it's all good for me.
Okay, all right, Sagar, please go ahead.
Uh, hey, hi, Yasharth. I
Hey,
didn't quite get your entire presentation. Were you not prepared for it, or how? I
the
mean,
the problem
there
is
were
I am a
no
little bit
slides much, or the
like,
designs, or the flow.
yeah, so my health is a little bit off because of the vaccine, so I was not able to make anything.
Okay. Because for me, it is not clear what are the things you worked in the first phase evaluation and what you are going to do in the second phase. I'm sure there is more work on the Talawa admin. Uh, I noticed when you showed the organization, you select one of the organization, then there is no option directly go back to
Exactly.
organization tab on the left hand panel. And there are a few more things I noticed, but and also when you hit the URL of the super admin, and you were changing the this URL paths to go into organization and different things, but on the first time also it did not ask for the super admin credentials. So I think it is because the super admin user is not created, right?
Yeah, actually, sir, I have to change the URL according to the logged in variable. Like, I just don't do it because there was nothing. Like, I just changed it because of the there was no data in the database, so that is why I changed it for showing.
Yeah, okay. Because it confuses a lot for
No,
viewers.
no, sir, it's divided, sir. Like, it's divided according to the is logged in value. That if it is logged in, like for the super admin, the only the pages of the super admin could be accessed, and if it is logged in as a organization admin, the only pages organization admin should will be showed.
Okay, so my question was the login functionality for the super admin, is it working or not yet?
That's
Yeah, it's working, sir. It's working. I will create a PR today.
Okay, can you please create the issues as well, whatever the work you have done in the first phase,
Sure,
and
sir.
the tasks you are doing right now, and what is
Sure, sir.
your plan for the second phase as well?
Sure, sir.
Okay, for the work you have done in the Talawa admin, it is really great. You have been designing for the Talawa admin and also the code part you have done. So uh, kudos to you. Thanks for this.
Yeah, I just wanted to build on some of the stuff that Sagar was talking about. The the flow through the organization, like the you had to manually type in the URLs. There weren't links, similar to what Sagar was talking about. There weren't back buttons and things like that. If we're going to be having a design that's going to be usable for the administrator, it needs to be thought through some more, and we need to make sure that the that you've got some of this stuff tightened up, because we have to remember that we have to make sure before the end user even sees what the Talawa mobile app looks like, the administrator has to set it up. And if the administrator doesn't feel comfortable with it, if the administrator doesn't understand what's going on, then there's no Talawa app. And so, though we really, really need to make sure that the first point of contact with Talawa is really going to be the Talawa admin. And we really need to make sure that that is really fine tuned so that all the work that the other guys have been doing with the Talawa mobile app can reach maximum fruition. So I really encourage you to work with Jason to make sure that these things are implemented. Make sure that we have the issues so that we can keep track. That is really, really helpful. Um, and that gives us a better idea as to what sort of progress you've been making. I think Brandon had his hand up. Please go ahead, Brandon.
Oh no, that was an accident. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. I think Shanika was there. She had a question as well. Please go ahead.
Oh, yes. Hi. Just it was a quick one. I suppose it would be covered in navigation. I believe you said most of it, but I'm trying to recall if there was some discussions around the administrators maintaining or managing multiple organizations. So it wasn't abundantly clear where the administrator would have selected that particular organization that you were editing at the time. So I was
Yes,
wondering.
the option was also the when the list came for the organization, anyone can join it. मतलब, मतलब he can click on any organization he want and he can edit that.
Oh, okay. Oh, what I meant was I didn't see the list presented, the list of the organizations from the admin portal. So where I didn't see it presented at the time. Well, um, so I was wondering at what point you would have selected the organization, or or would it be from the mobile app? Well,
I couldn't understand.
oh, okay. Well, the all right, was a list presented. I was having some connectivity issues, so I missed
Okay, ma'am, no
some
problem.
part of your presentation. But what I didn't see, maybe you had presented it, was a listing of organizations, and he selected one, and you would have selected the one single organization to administer or to manage.
Yeah,
So I wasn't sure where exactly that list came up, like after logging, before logging, or so I was saying maybe it would be
after
covered
login, after login.
covered in navigation. So I wasn't I didn't see that presented, so I don't know if that you had presented that screen and I missed it.
Okay, we've got a question from
Uh,
Sagar. Please go ahead.
yeah, Peter. I know Yasharth, you're not well. Please take care. But Peter, can we have this Yasharth's presentation again? Maybe once he's feeling better, because I would like to understand how the flow is uh, in the Talawa admin. What are the functionalities, and maybe uh, some of the students or the mentors can suggest if they have any new features request or the suggestions.
Okay, that's a valid concern and a valid thought about your health, Yasharth. So one of the things that we can do is we can use the Slack channel to sort of determine what that new plan of action is. But it really would be good to get an idea as to what sort of work you've been able to
Sure,
do.
sir. I will be sending the PPT made by me today, by
Okay.
today in the Slack channel.
Okay, but we would like to at least be able to see it with the other mentors, just so that we can get a better understanding. Because sometimes things don't translate when you just post something. It'd be also good
No
to
problem, sir.
provide us
I
with
will do.
information, just so that we understand whether you're understanding what we're trying to achieve, whether you're making progress, those sorts of things. That's very important for us. So Sagar's comment is very welcome. So we don't necessarily need to come to a conclusion with that right now, but we will figure out exactly what we want to do through Slack and then work from there. All right. We are at the end. We were supposed to go until 9:50. We're my time, that is, and we're about 20 minutes early. Thank you very much, everybody. I've recorded this. I will try to see how I can put it online very shortly. Students, once again, the work that you've done has been exemplary. We're very proud of what has been able to be achieved in the very short space of time. I'm looking forward to the other design elements that are going to be. Oops, sorry. I'm looking forward to the other design elements that are going to be applied, and good luck on the second half of the Google Summer of Code. Thank you very much, and goodbye, I guess.
Peter, one last comment and suggestion or tip for all the student. I'm sure there is lot of dependency between you guys, but if someone asks the questions or need your help, just reply them back as quickly as possible. Even if you are busy, just let them know so that they don't get stuck and they can move on for the other tasks.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And Sumitra, your question or comment?
Uh, yeah, I would like to thank all the mentor and you, Peter, for the constant guidance that you all have provided. It means a lot to all of the GSoC students as well as the externship students and the input and the feedback that we have been getting with respect to the portion we are instruct with, like in the mentors meeting also, Dominic gave me a lot of guidance related to encryption. I have conversation with Gareth, and these feedbacks are phenomenal, and we are really lucky to be a part of this community. So thank you all the mentors and Peter for this constant guidance and having a trust on us to actually deliver the results.
Yes, you're welcome. One of the things that you've probably realized is that I try to delegate a lot of the responsibility to the mentors, and the mentors then delegate that work to the students. We very much try to see how we can work with an assumption of trust with the students and in their trust in their abilities, and hopefully wait and see at what point the students decide to escalate. We are also, as much as possible, trying to make sure that we have an open communication channel. We don't want to be one of those projects in which there's a negative type of culture. And I've been really, really trying to see how we can make it as inclusive as possible to take everybody's time into consideration. You probably notice that we don't have a lot of meetings, and the meetings that we do have are we try to make them very short with a very tight agenda. I'm working with people in almost immediate opposite sides of the world, and we really have to be respectful of everybody's time. Some people work late in the evening, and while others are in the morning, and vice versa. And so, thank you very much for taking the time out. And we are always looking for more comments. I hope that at the end of the GSoC period, that you guys will consider being mentors for students next year, and that we will have an equally successful GSoC 2022.